Lachie.
Jonah, episode 7.
Dude, we are crushing the statistics.
That's all this is about. We finished last episode, which was a catch-up episode. We were talking about both of our previous experiences heading away on a bit of a holiday, which was well. We did well to line that up around the same time, so go us.
Well done, Lachie.
And then, I don't know how we ended up there, but we ended up talking about the ant and the pen as a bit of a experiment that I discovered online a while back. For context, might just do a little.
Yeah, tell us the story. You at the end of the last episode, or maybe partway through, you told this story, and it kind of launches into the entrance of a rabbit hole, and that we're just going to continue this week.
So I don't know how far it's going to go.
Yeah, but, dude, what's the story?
So essentially, there's this experiment done online. I have no idea who the original person was, but I have seen many variations of it, where a guy put an A4 piece of paper on a table and then just plonked an ant onto it. Don't know where the ant came from, how he got it, but it ended up on the paper.
What a trip for the ant.
What a journey. And then he immediately drew like a big circle around the ant with a pen. And the ants, obviously, if you've ever seen an ant in your life, is just running around and around and around, and it just can't stop. But every time it reached where the pen had drawn the line, it would just stop and turn around, and then it'd run to like another side of the circle and turn around. It was just constantly going all over the place. Essentially, what the guy began to do was condense the circle and draw new lines, and just go making the circle smaller and smaller and smaller, to the point where he accidentally drew a line too close to the ant, that the ant just like ran straight over the line. And not sure how big an ant's brain is. I assume it's relatively small, but it was enough for him to realize that where he thought he was trapped within this like circle, this thing of his imagination, he realized he was no longer trapped, and it was just something that he was like nervous for or scared of. And there's a bit of a thought behind that of, we probably have a bunch of circles that have been drawn around us by ourselves or other people, and it's going to be really hard to know what those circles are to be able to cross that line. And so we did a bit of thinking, both of us, and our bit of mission between last week and this week was to do some self-discovery and look at what could be a circle that we have drawn around ourselves, and what might it look like to step out of that circle.
Yeah.
I think this makes sense, because in my head, it's a full video that I can visualize. And for people that have never seen it, it's going to be really hard.
I haven't seen it. Wait, did you show me last week? You told the story. You showed me after we recorded. But before I had seen it, I could picture it perfectly by the way you were describing it.
Awesome.
So I get it. There's an ant on a piece of paper with a circle drawn around it, and it thinks it can't get out until it happens to step over it, like someone else drawing the line.
Yeah.
And then it's just game over for the pen.
Well, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Pen 0. It doesn't matter if you're drawing lines on the paper, on the table, on the floor. Like, that pen just cannot stop the ant anymore. I did some further research on said video. I watched it and I read some of the comments of the video that I watched, and there's a lot of people saying like, oh, it's the chemicals, or it's the this is why the ant would stop. Yeah. But there's not much that explains, once it steps over the ink, why it never stops again.
True.
So as much as there is a theory behind it, we're using it as a bit of like an analogy metaphor.
Yeah, which we love doing.
Something much bigger than a pen.
I really enjoyed this thought, this word story, because you and I get to experience it almost every day at work. Something that we get to do in our job is take groups of kids out, or participants, guests, on adventures and experiences. And sometimes that is at height, abseiling or giant swings or whatever. And sometimes it's team challenges and, things like archery or whatever. But we get to visually see other people's circles. And I would say we are quite good at identifying it for other people. And we get to walk through an experience with them of encouraging them to step over. and then hopefully see it throughout the time that we get to spend with them. But we left the last episode with the challenge of what's like my circle? What's your circle, Lachie, that we get to walk people through their own. And there's a moment where I was thinking this week, like, I know there's been times where I've identified circles in my own life or somebody has done it for me. But when's like the last time I've actually thought about it and been challenged by it? And I wasn't okay with the feeling of I haven't done it in a while. So how can I do it to somebody else? And so my week has been thinking quite deeply about the circles. After we finished recording last week and we're saying about going on the journey of finding our own circles, we kind of made this joke that we would want the circle to have some sort of vulnerability or substance to it. Otherwise, us sharing our stories this week of the circles, they'll be like, he's afraid of caving. Like, there's not much
He
substance
doesn't like
to
eating broccoli.
it. So then I went on a journey of like, well, what are some like actually vulnerable circles that I feel like I've drawn in my life that we could talk about that actually have substance and that I actually want to do something about. I don't care. Like I know I have a line drawn around my life about caving because I've been caving and I hated it. I don't want to step outside that line, but there's other circles that I want to step out of. And I think they're worth talking about.
Can I answer that?
Yes. And
yes. Yes. Yeah, I think one of the big things that we touch in a lot is the concept of fear and doing things that are outside your comfort zone. But when we talk to like youth and even adults about comfort zones, at no point do we come from somewhere of professionalism or like life coaching and advice. It's all just my experience transition to you through a physical activity where you can either just have fun or visualize potential in that space. For me, I didn't want to go into similar to what you just said. You don't want to pick a circle that is you have no interest of stepping over. I wanted to find a circle that I wasn't aware of. That because you're not aware of it, you have curiosity to step over it and see what the other side looks like. And so we almost need for this episode someone who like doesn't know us to hang out with us for half a day and tell us what our circle is. Because I would highly encourage if anyone understands what this topic is to just spend a day, just go for a walk somewhere where it's just quiet and no distractions and just think. Because the roller coaster that the brain went on to try and find something you don't know about was just incredible.
So I have a line of questioning for you.
Continue.
The first one, just a heads up, is a closed question, which isn't bad. Did you find a circle that previously you were unaware of? I've given you a yes or no, and you gave me a look like it's not a yes or a no.
It's a paragraph answer. I have been made aware of it at times, but it hasn't been of concern.
Okay.
I don't know how to explain this because that's not exactly what I mean. But that's just what came out.
Okay.
But it's something that I will, like moving forward, I know eventually I'm going to need to cross.
Okay.
So I think growing up, I had no interest of stepping the line. And now the circle I've chosen, I know that I'm going to have to step across the line.
Yeah. So, and you might have just mentioned a practical, like going for a walk, but how do you find a circle or a limitation of fear? We're just using it as a metaphor, the circle. How do you find a circle in your life that you're unaware of? How do you become aware? How do you become aware of that if you don't have somebody else?
That is a magnificent question.
It's a quest that I'm on
that I wish I could answer.
It's spitball.
Yeah.
It's like,
I think you start easy, right? Like the first thing I did was I looked for like what is a circle in my life.
It's good.
And something is going to come to your head. There's going to be some picture of this is a boundary that I've set for myself that I like. For me specifically, the first thing that comes to my head is I do not eat seafood. And if someone says, "Have you tried it?" and I say no,
yeah.
Well, you should try it. No,
Not do it.
It's my circle. Like I've had battered fish. in the quantity of 2% fish and 98% batter. But yeah, it's just one of those circles where I just have no interest. And there's so many foods that I like that aren't seafood.
Mm,
So that's an easy circle. And then you kind of spiral into different points of your life, maybe something not food related, or like not sport or hobby or work or anything. Like you just spiral and you start with what's a limit that you know you've set, which generally kind of ties down to just your personality and like your
mm,
morals and how you make decisions.
yeah. I'm thinking about a question that I ask some people that I get to look after at work.
Mm.
And that question is, what don't you like about yourself? And I think that's a brave quest to go on. But if you ask that kind of question, the thing that you don't like about yourself, there's probably something sitting under it that's not the thing. And it probably might reveal a circle. And I was just thinking, that's how I got to mine.
Mm.
I found that quite, because similar to you, the first thing I thought of was I don't like caving, like you don't like seafood.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, but okay. And so then I thought about, the term is metacognition, and it means to think about the way that you think. I had to think about how I think about myself, and hopefully that leads to some circles. But I love that idea of starting simple, just get in the flow of what is a circle. What's a very small, low substance, low risk circle you can step over, and even like you're building the muscle of that kind of confidence and bravery to step over little circles. So then if you identify a big one, you've kind of generated the muscle to step over them. On a side story, I was with a school group last week, and at the end of the week, we asked them a question. What have you learned this week about leadership? Because the whole camp was about leadership. And there was a bunch of really good answers, and a kid put up his hand. And he said, use confidence. And I was like, that's a very interesting turn of phrase. It's not like gain confidence. It's use confidence, that you can only gain more confidence if you use it. So it's one of those things that it's not there until you use it. Anyway, then I was thinking about that on my journey of circles, of being like, I have to use confidence to step over circles and even to find the circles.
I think the question you asked of what don't you like about yourself is controversial. Some people could go really poorly in that space and get really upset. But it's asking the question of like, what don't you like that you're willing to change? Whereas not like, if there's something you don't like about yourself and you either one, don't have the power to change it, or two, aren't willing to change it, you don't want to get stuck in that.
Yeah, you don't want it to become like a self-deprecating, spiral. That's a really good point. It's out of like acceptance. Like, I'm accepting who I am and I love this person, but there are things that I don't like, and that's okay. Can I do anything about them? Let's explore. Like, it's kind of the journey. Yeah,
Now that
that's a
I've
good point.
chosen my circle that I wanted to talk about today and potentially step over moving forward, like you asking that question, my answer is this. Like when you say, what don't you like about yourself? Like, if you had asked me that question, I don't know if I would have landed on this answer.
Yeah.
But having this answer, it answers that question for me.
And just for
how you probably know you have a good circle.
Yeah. And just for clarity of people listening, we haven't told each other the circles.
That's why we keep working around it. My circle is this.
I said to Lachie this morning that I had found one, and you were like, what is it? And I was like, no, I want to tell you live on air. So we don't know. So that's really interesting that I said that and that connected for you. That's a good like litmus test for if it's a good circle or not. You said last episode that the story of the ant and the circle was like putting a golf ball on the tee. And before we hit record, we were like, oh, we're about to hit the driver. Yeah. And I don't know anything about golf. Is hit the driver the right way of saying it?
Well,
swing?
Like, we're going to tee off. And so, when I don't play golf.
This is not a golf podcast.
No, I don't know where the golf analogy came from.
No, that's right.
We're here for it. It's like putting the ball on the tee on the first hole we didn't really know, like, we hadn't planned the shot yet. It's just this is where you start.
It feels great though.
Yeah, we just put it in. Wind conditions are great. It's a par 5, so
Is it?
we got heaps of time.
I didn't know that. Okay, sick.
Yeah, we didn't have to rush.
There's a
But
couple of sand pits,
Bunkers.
bunkers.
yeah, and the
Sick.
water hazard.
Really?
Yeah,
Are we? Is there an alligator in there, like Florida golf courses?
yeah, maybe.
Oh, sick.
It was a roller coaster of a term to write down because it had no context. It came out of nowhere. But we're here to tee off.
We're about to
and
tee off.
make an episode out of what wasn't even meant to be in the previous episode. So
good.
this will probably happen a lot more than once.
Yeah,
I believe.
and I feel like listening back to episodes and having some time off recording, but like I think you and I are gaining comfortability in this space, and probably like crafting what we want it to be like more specifically. I had this exciting feeling to talk about this conversation like all week. And I've had that a couple times in other episodes, but the last couple, I can't remember the order of them. The Paris stories was fun. I enjoyed that. But of just being like, getting into some deep stuff that we're actually figuring out along the way. I'm excited for. Can I preface something?
Please.
I feel like, and this is part of my circle, but I feel like when I share my circle, there's a high chance I'll cry. So I just want to preface that before it happens.
Sounds okay.
Anyway,
all the time in the world. I'll go first.
Perfect.
So I'm an ant. I've been placed on a piece of paper.
I feel sorry for you, bro.
And I know what's coming. And yeah, I've run into this wall, and similar to what the ant probably thinks, like he imagines he has the freedom, and so he's just running day to day through his life, and then he just runs into this like barrier, and then he's like, yeah, not a problem, runs the other way, runs into the same barrier, not a problem, runs the other way, runs into another barrier, and it just continues. The circle gets smaller and smaller. The more he runs around, the more he starts to run into the barrier. Digging more into the analogy.
I love it.
I think my circle is labeled like my competitive circle. So I'm a hyper competitive person, and I will not get involved in something that I don't think I can be the best at. Allow me to continue.
Allowed.
Objection.
Stop now.
A big part of my personality is like being a perfectionist and self-diagnosed OCD without reading fully what that is. So I don't want to offend anyone. I love things to be clean, tidy, in order, and like used and put back exactly where it came from. I get involved in like hobbies, sports, jobs, and my individual goal is to just be completely reliable and completely like the best, to points where I will do stuff that no one else is doing, or if people are doing it, I do it more than that person. So I can first of all catch up to the living standard of said thing. I'll find a good example in a moment. And then once I have reached it, I don't just want to be like on par with everyone. I want to be the best. A lot of examples that I went through in my brain of like where I've seen this in my life is there's two streams. There's like I'm being selfish and I'm trying to beat other people and like almost kind of let them know. So like in a hobby, you're trying to be like the absolute best. And if you look at all mainstream sports, you have those players that try to like climb the ranks and be the big name and get the fame and whatever. But then there's also a stream where it's just like individual. Like I'm not competing against anyone, but I just want to be reliable and I want to know what I'm doing. And when it comes to work, I think that's a massive piece of it is I just want to, like, if someone asks me a question that I'm working with or a guest or a stranger on the street, I want to be able to answer it. And I don't want to have to question it and I don't want to have to go to anyone else. I want to be like fully reliable. And so I'll do all the research, I'll do all the studying, even though I hate studying. And I'll do everything to make sure that I'm like as good and professional and perfect as can be. I have a question here, which I'll get to after I provide some examples. But one of the questions I have is like, what's inside my circle? So currently I'm inside. So what does that look like? And because these circles are something we're potentially not aware of, the second question is what could be outside my circle? And so if you were to step over the line, what would that look like? And what would change?
It's great.
So a big part of my life is work, working a 9 to 5, working 5 days a week, using my competitive circle and strength to work more than that in my own time to do some research and strengthen my own ability. I think work is a massive part of that.
Yep.
And then outside work, I have something like graphic design that I picked up through recent times with COVID, just being locked at home and stuck in a building and being told you can and can't do all these things. Graphic design was a massive thing that I picked up. And graphic design is in the stream of I do it non-stop at home when I have the time. And at no point can I think of a time where I was competing against someone.
Yes.
Like the only reason I do it and I practice it and I scrap projects and then make new ones and repeat the same project 50 times is because I don't like it and it's not good enough by my terms. And like, no one, like, if I showed my worst piece that I've ever put together, someone that I show it to will be like, that is insane. Like, that's incredible.
I know that experience. You've shown me stuff, and I've been like, how do you even do that?
But yeah, for me, it's like, it's not up to standard. And that's the competitive side coming out. In terms of work, similar kind of vibe. Like, I want to be reliable and I want to be professional in our industry and I want to be like well versed. We've discussed it a million times, but a lot of the things that we do in our work, I think first is for us, and then second is for the groups that we look after. And we can't do something and talk about it and share it with a group if we haven't thought about it ourselves.
It's good.
And so you can, but you won't know what you're talking about. You won't land it. It'll be a mess.
You can and if you're listening, you can tell.
Yeah.
If you've done the work, you can tell. Yeah.
And so I pride myself at work of like trying to be the best, but not making it a competition. Like if someone else I'm working beside is better than me, I'm not upset or like frustrated or angry, but I am stealing every piece of information to try and make myself better.
Yeah.
So I love those two sides of things. There's been a bunch of like hobbies and stuff growing up as a kid in the other stream. So like playing sports like basketball and all that kind of stuff, like in a team sport. I don't know if it's just being a young person, but as soon as you're in a team, or as soon as I was in a team, I had to be the best in the team.
Right.
And it's a team sport, so your team is what should be competing against other people. You don't want people inside your team competing against each other. And so it was funny how that worked for me. And I didn't fit in team sports. I was too self-centered that I needed to be individually and I needed to be doing stuff by myself. Juggling was something I found myself doing once I had tried a ring of sports. I'd been ring circle.
Oh,
sorry. I literally tried every sport that was available to me, and I just couldn't do any of it. Juggling was something I fell to because it was, again, that idea of like constantly signing up for failure, picking up, going again, just rinsing and repeating. And that's not why I did it, but that's a incredible outcome that I got from it. And the like resilience and patience that you achieve when you're signing up for failure is mental. And in that, I was constantly connecting with other people and showing skill and asking questions. But again, it wasn't a comparison. Like, I wanted to be better, but I wasn't frustrated that other people were better than me. It's two like very different mentalities of like being really upset that you're not the best and you like run into a sport where like everyone's playing and they're not playing properly. And so you get really fired up and you're like, oh, I'm just better. Like, give me the ball. Let me do everything. Like, that kind of attitude is what I've been trying to like avoid. What's inside my circle, if I may dip into this a little bit, is like my competitive nature and my drive for perfection and all that kind of stuff. And I'm attracted towards people that are also high performers because I feel like when I joined this industry and I met my first guy that I shadowed and walked alongside to like get an idea of what we do, I love the guy. I was like, this guy's awesome. He knows everything. He's perfect. Like, meanwhile, he's probably making mistake here, mistake there. Like, you just don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just those people are incredible. But now, after being in the industry myself for a few years, I think if I lined up with that person again, I would like to think, with my competitive nature, that I am on par with them or better.
Mm.
I don't strive to be better, but I strive to be reliable and know everything.
Mm.
So it depends where we align in that space. Yeah, I think within my life and being competitive, I have found a trait within people that you're either just like a really nice person, you do things for fun, or you're competitive and you look up to the people above you. But once you reach the level that they're at, you look for the next people and you kind of, in a non direct way, like get rid of the people that you have now caught up to.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of people seem to use this, whether they know it or not. Maybe that's a circle for a lot of people, is they just blow people off once they don't need them anymore. And when someone has something you need, you're like in their pocket and by their side and best friends. And then once you reach that line, you just kind of get rid of them.
Mm.
What I think could be outside my circle, which is what creates the circle in the first place, is avoiding something. And for me, I think what could be outside my circle is an ability to do something for fun and enjoyment. And so when I had looked at my circles, every single thing I do is like to like climb a rank or be good or be like the best or know everything or like just be up there in
That's the
terms of,
motivation.
yeah, that's the motivation. But
Yeah.
when I look at everything I do day to day, I don't have many things that I can just say the only reason I do that is because I enjoy it.
Wow.
And I don't care what level I'm at. I just enjoy doing it.
Mm.
And so I think it's very vague, but I think that's where like my circle sits that I want to focus on. Is I want to find the things that are just fun. Because I do this job because I love it. But if I suck at my job, I'm not happy and I'm not
Yes.
having a good time.
Mm.
I basically want to understand what fun is. I know that sounds really sad.
No, dude,
but
it's
you got
it's
questions building?
yeah, man.
I want to find what's something I might do or can do for just pure enjoyment, and that's it. No competition, and potentially see the group of people that opens me up to like moving towards. Because currently, as I just mentioned, the people that I pull myself towards are the people that are high achievers and the top of the top. And if I see someone like that, I'm just boom right there. And so I wonder if there was more things I did just for enjoyment and just for fun, what kind of people you would find in that space.
They're a great couple of questions.
Yeah. So my overarching question that is like just sitting there in the front of my forehead is like, what does it look like and what does it take to intentionally step over that line?
It's great. And if you find, no matter what circle we find, those two questions are relevant.
Mm.
And they were what again?
What does it look like and what does it take to
Yeah.
intentionally step over the line?
Because that's what it will all boil down to. Whatever your circle is, whatever my circle is, and even if we get over this one, there's going to be more.
Mm.
What does it look like to step over the circle, and what does it take?
Mm.
That is absolute gold.
I think we discussed it at the start, but there's a few circles that we can identify, and some of them you have no interest of stepping over. But I think this is a circle where a lot of people have said like, "Oh, do it because it's fun." I was like, "No, I do it because I'm competitive." And so I think it would be a really exciting journey for me to go on personally to find out what that looks like.
If I can throw in a metaphor to describe what I'm hearing as you speak, it reminds me of your car. Your car is a hybrid.
Mm.
And it takes petrol.
Yeah.
But it also has battery.
Yeah.
Like it's also electric. And it sounds like that for a long time you have been running on petrol. And sometimes you need petrol. And it's not a bad thing. But when you only run on petrol, there's some things that only run on electric. And it sounds like you are discovering and learning how to use a different fuel type from petrol and this drive and this competitive thing, and discovering the things that take electric, and it's like, it's just for fun. It just regenerates. It's not about reaching somewhere or being the best or getting there, whatever it is, however you want to take that metaphor, but it's time to run on electric in some places. I think that's sick. That's cool.
Damn you. I'm going to think about that every time I get in my car now.
You're so welcome.
Yeah. I see it tick over from electric to petrol.
You're like, oh.
You see it like on the highway, sometimes it's running on like both and it's like dual power.
Ooh.
And so like, I'm just going to be rinsing metaphors through my brain all the way home.
It's so good. So you said those questions. What does it look like to step over the circle, and what does it take? And I want to add this third question into that list. Do you think it's worth it? Because if I know what it looks like and I know what it takes to step outside the circle, but I don't think it's worth it, I'm not going to do it. Like going caving or getting over that circle. I don't think it's worth it. And so
I guess that's where my first circle comes in of like seafood. It's like, I was like, there is so much food out there that I don't need to force myself to eat this. The only time I wish I ate seafood is when I go camping, because how sick would it be to like catch a fish, put it straight on the plate, eat it? Like,
that'd be sick.
How mad would that be?
That'd be sick.
Is it worth it? No, I'm going to take chocolate, nachos, beef, wagyu
Spam.
patties. Like, I'm taking all the luxury. I'm not forcing myself in that space.
So it's discovering a circle that you go, what does it take to step outside of it? What does it look like? And do I deem it worthy? Is it worth me trying to get over this circle? The question I have for you, which I feel like I could probably pick an answer out from hearing you, but I just want to throw it to you, is how does the circle hold you back in places like work, where it might be a good fuel type, the circle and how you operate, but in those spaces, are there ever moments that it does actually hold you back or limit you or have a negative impact on your experience?
Such a good question. Thinking right on the spot right now, it could just be my mentality, but I think that competitive nature and that drive for perfection benefits more than it hurts. But the question of does it hold you back? You're not saying a percentage, you're saying at all. And it has to. Like, there has to be a point where I'm not stepping into some avenue of my work because there's no advantage and there's no competition. It's just fun. I think if I was to think on the spot, a point where it could hold me back is every time I get a group that's like high school, say years like 9, 10, 11, 12, or adults being my favorite, please more of that. I get so excited and I think of all the potential and the way that I could change them. And those people attract me because of where they are, and they are stepping into points where they have to make big decisions and they have to think about it and they have to be semi-competitive to achieve what they want to achieve. I think where I struggle day to day is when we get years like 2, 3, 4, like tiny little kids.
Yeah. And you're 6'6".
I was about to say, remembering that I'm like well above 6 foot and they come up to my kneecaps. Like,
they can't even see your head. It's just in the clouds.
Not only is that a hard factor, but with what we do, when you get to the bottom line, they're just here for fun. And the energy they bring, I right now cannot match. But I have had groups in the past that I walk into kind of down and like, it's my job, I get paid, like my job is to do this and offer an experience. And the thing with that is the expectation is you just have fun. You don't have to be talking about life choices and making good decisions and stepping out of your comfort zone. You can sprinkle it in there, but really all they need is a bit of fun and doing something that they don't normally do.
Yeah.
I have had a few groups where I walk away and be like, that was actually like really good. And that felt incredible to work with kids that young, and they surprise you. They think a lot deeper than you think they do. And they're there a lot more intentionally than you think they are. They're not just there for fun. But I rarely get excited for a group that is just here for fun. Like, my drive is there's so much more than that. And there's this mental competition of like, I've put all the time and effort in to learn all these things, and I can't tell that to a year 2 kid. He's gonna be like, I just want chicken nuggets and to like run
Yeah.
around with my friends.
Distract me from my homesickness.
Yeah. So potentially within work specifically, that's somewhere where it holds me back is when you get people that are that young and small and they're just here for a fun time and they have high energy.
Mhm.
I can't bring that.
Mm.
The only time I bring high energy and like incredible vibes is when it's a competition and we're getting down to it and it's it's
Yeah.
me against you. Like that's where
Yeah.
I thrive.
Okay, so here's another question.
Yeah.
You were talking about in the workspace and probably in a, because I know you're a little bit in just how you operate in the world is that thing about being reliable, self-sufficient, the best at, whatever the thing that you're doing, where the only way you can be the best is by relying on someone else and being dependent on somebody else. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I think it would be frustrating. I think the main example I think of is obviously within a team sport. Like you put in all the time and effort, you're training way more than anyone's training. You're traveling all over the place to meet the people that are better than the people you train with at home. Like you're doing everything you can to be the best. And then when you go to like your grand final and your big competition and you feel like you're not the only, but one of the only ones that are pulling the weight and you can't find a way to bring up the rest of the team. I know that feeling really well. I'm not someone who likes to like stress or like just be overwhelmed in a situation. I like to always think that like there is a way and there's something I can do. And so within that space, I'm always trying to like work around it. Or if like we've discussed in the past that perspective is massive.
Yeah.
And if we could string an episode about perspective as a topic, that would be legendary. But
Oof, I'll just be listening to you.
I think in that exact scenario, I just keep thinking like perspective. Like I see what I see, but from that side, like I don't know what they're seeing. And so they might think that they're matching what I'm putting out. But from my side of the perspective, like it's just not the same. I can't think of a moment where if I was to implement this circle into that space, I don't think it would change much. But this circle's new and I am yet to step out of it. So maybe it's a matter of like almost forcing myself into that and just choosing to cross the line.
Yeah.
And just be like, let's see what happens.
Yeah, and you're right. If it's a circle that is only just coming into focus, you might not be able to think of times that it's happened in other areas other than like comps or work or whatever. And it's what we were talking about at the start about how do you become aware of a circle that you're unaware of?
Yeah.
And it could just be beginning to see it and bouncing ideas off somebody, and then you're like, oh, there it is again. Like, how did I not see this?
There's definitely friendships that have been like, I don't know what to call them, like they're not soft and hard friendships, but like people that are like you're kind of friends and you get along and you know each other and you hang out here and there versus like people that are like in your pocket.
It's like
and
different
like,
degrees of friendship.
they're like super, super close, but there's definitely been a lot of the like super, super close friendships that have just left purely because I don't know how to just have fun. And again, I know that sounds like depressing and sad, but it's more like I'm on that competitive journey and I'm just driving. And if this person like can't keep up and they don't want the same thing, we're just going to clash heads. And if there's a group of people here that want the same as I want, I'm going to stick with them. And like, it's not that I don't like this person. We just don't align. There's I hope this doesn't create a whole nother episode, but
I hope it does.
There's another video that I watched, a reel on Instagram. I have it saved and I'll show you sometime. But it's this guy. He's doing this massive like lecture, and he's doing like his closing pitch, and it's talking about people in your life being like boosters on a rocket, and when the big rockets get shot up into space, the boosters like fall off at a specific altitude. Like they're just there to get you to that altitude. And once you get there, they fall off and then you continue. And the big thing is like not everyone in your life is there for a lifetime. A lot of people are there for seasons and they're not designed, like those boosters aren't designed to go to where you're going. And so that's like after seeing that video, it's put everything into to make sense. Is a lot of those friendships, even if they're really close and like important to me, if they're not wanting to go where I want to go. I'm not here to like string it out and force it, if that makes sense. I don't want to be a priority in that person's life if they're not going to the same altitude.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I've also been a booster to a rocket.
That was my next question.
Yeah. So I've definitely felt the flip side of it and can see like how hard it can be and like upsetting and how it can like affect you severely.
Man, that's cool. There's a guy called Alfred Adler. He talks a lot about community, and he talks about a bunch of whack stuff, but he talks about how to make a healthy community. And there's 3 points to it. And one of the points is that the people that you're around are not your enemies, they're your friends. And so he describes, imagine walking through life or journeying through life like it's a ladder, and your job is to climb above people and push them down and to reach the top. He says that's treating people like enemies. Instead, he says a healthy community treats it like you're on a big grass oval and you're walking from your side to another side, and there's people everywhere and they're going different directions, and some are in front of you and some are behind you and some are next to you and some are going different directions. And your job is just to walk, and maybe for a little while you're walking alongside somebody that's heading in the same direction, and then they slow up or speed up or whatever. And it's not about this can I get on top of and what can I do to bring you down, but it's like, how can I best do this journey with the people that I'm around as far as they're willing to come with me. And that's kind of, I feel like that's a good picture of what you're talking about, that you have the competitive nature to be the best that you can be, and in competitions where it's kind of like at the expense of the other team, like that's reasonable. That's, the point of it.
Yeah.
But in other spheres like work, you have that ability to go, I want to be the best, but it's not at your expense. It's not at somebody else's expense. It's because the journey, that the direction I want to go in, I want to be the best in this way. And it looks like that person's just going a little different direction. Yeah.
It's giving me a picture of my drive to work along the highway.
In your hybrid car?
Not to go back to my car, but like you think about like that highway is there for most of your life, and you jump on it and you ride beside cars nonstop. You might overtake some might overtake you. You'll be driving and you'll just watch 20 of them exit off, and then you'll continue, and then eventually you'll exit off and the others will continue. Like,
it's good.
Like you're there and you're riding with the traffic, and imagine if we could just talk to the people in the other cars. Like, you'd have some good conversations.
Where are you going? What are you doing?
Yeah. But like, that's the kind of image I get there. And the ladder refers to what I was talking about before, about you kind of like aspire and like admire all these people above you. But once you reach their level, you kind of just like push them down and look for the next, and like you reach up. So
yeah,
I really like that.
What are you going to do for fun?
Damn.
You got me there.
Yeah.
Question. There is a social thing that happens every week that a lot of people from work go to. This is just my observation. Do you not join because you won't be the best?
I think what I've been doing is looking over the line. I've walked up to it and I'm like on my tippy toes, like,
I could,
interested.
But...
I was like, what is it? So yeah, essentially what we do is like, there's like a uni night, like it's for fun soccer.
Yeah.
And there's like, you can win a comp, but like it's based off like fun, which for me sounds like a nightmare.
That's why I thought of it.
Yeah. And so I've gone intentionally to experiment what it feels like to be in a place just for fun.
Yeah.
And being in the game of soccer, I always find myself just standing in goals, because like when I'm in goals, it's something that I can control, and I'm either good enough to keep the ball out or bad enough to let it in. And there's not really I don't get upset if my team let the other team through. Like, that's the game. It's just what happens. But I don't put myself in a space where I like have to rely on other people or they have to rely on me. I'm playing a team sport, but I'm choosing the most independent solo role.
Wow.
And no matter how much I play, my team encourage me and support me, and they're the team players. And then I'm just standing there like, I just let a goal in and it's the end of my life. Like, I was like, I just cannot believe this happened. And
yeah,
they're like, no, it's all good. You've saved like 50 goals. And I was like,
yeah, but I
let one in. Like,
and we lost.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that's been an experiment. And generally now it's like 5 or 6 on the field. And I choose not to go, because I don't feel as though I'm often there for the right reason. A lot of the times I go is when the team has to forfeit. And so it's almost in that competitive space of like, if the team needs me, I'll be there. But if you don't need me, probably not.
Dude, you should get on the field, not in goals, when they have enough players. That's my challenge for you.
It has happened a few times. And I think it probably falls into the circle of like, I don't know if it's another circle, but my fear in that space is like, if I start doing it, I'm gonna do it competitively. I'm gonna like start training, like not going too hard, but like I'm gonna want to be better and be reliable within the team and be like a key player. And so hence why I like limit myself to goals. So I don't think it's like a fear of like not wanting to. It's like I don't want to get excited about that and make that something I'm driven in.
Which is where you need to learn to use the different fuel type.
Exactly. I need to be like,
you don't need petrol.
I'm only here for fun.
You need electric. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's genuine. That's real. Wow.
That's a great example. You've done well to pull that out.
I've been thinking about it for a while.
No, that's a good one.
That's cool. Wow. And is it worth it?
Is it worth it?
So this episode is Lachie's Circle.
Lachie's Circle.
Oh, dude, I like it.
And then when it lines up well, we can do Jonah's Circle.
Sounds good. I am happy to hold on to mine for a little bit.
Don't overthink it.
Man,
it's natural.
But I tell you what, I appreciate the depth that you have thought of the circles. And similar to me, not just gone, this is my circle seafood, I'm going to try sushi this. Like, but it's something you have gone to the depth in which we would want a group that we take out to an activity to experience and to engage with us. Because I mean, like the conversation that we just had felt so full of substance and significance. And I really appreciate the depth that you went to and the thought that you put into it. So I got a question for whoever is listening. And the question is, what's your circle? What does it take to step over it? What does it look like? And why is it worth it? Why is it worth stepping over that circle? What's waiting for you on the other side?
What is your circle? Nice. All right. That was nice and short.